From a young age, he showed signs of greatness, being tutored by the legendary philosopher Aristotle. By the time he was just 20, he was leading armies into battle, conquering vast territories, and claiming lands from Greece to Egypt and beyond. His strategies are still studied in military academies around the world, and his name echoes through history as a symbol of courage, ambition, and brilliance. But what truly set him apart from other leaders? What drove him to conquer so much in such a short time? Dive deeper, and you'll uncover the secrets of his unmatched success and the controversies that surround his legacy. Military genius from a young age. Let's talk about Alexander's military genius from a young age and how it was shaped by his father, Philip II of Macedon. King Philip was a military innovator, introducing strategies like the oblique phalanx and transforming the Macedonian army into a well-trained, disciplined force. He didn't just pass down his kingdom, he passed down his military brilliance to his son. Philip's elite cavalry, known as the companion cavalry, and his restructured phalanx tactics laid the groundwork for Alexander's future conquests. Alexander's first taste of real battle came at the age of 18 during the Battle of Chaeronea in 338 BCE. This was a pivotal moment in his early career, showcasing his tactical brilliance. Commanding a wing of his father's cavalry, he led a bold charge that decimated the Theban sacred band, a highly respected elite military unit of the time. This wasn't just any win, it was Alexander's strategic genius that played a major role in crushing the opposing coalition of Athens and Thebes. This victory at Chaeronea not only marked the end of Greek independence, but also began Alexander's journey to become one of history's greatest military leaders. Alexander's brilliance wasn't just luck or natural talent. From a young age, he observed Philip's tactics and absorbed military strategies like a sponge. He witnessed how his father neutralized Greek city-states through both diplomatic skill and military strength. By the time he stepped onto the battlefield at Chaeronea, Alexander already had a deep understanding of strategy, which he'd used to reshape the ancient world. This early experience solidified Alexander's addiction to battlefield glory. His future campaigns, including his famous battles at Granicus, Issus, and Gaugamela, would all reflect the aggressive, high-risk tactics he honed under Philip's guidance, proving he was not only a brilliant commander, but also a fearless one. Conquering Greece and beyond. Let's dive into how Alexander consolidated Greece and then set his sights on Persia. After Philip II was assassinated in 336 BCE, Alexander quickly took control of the throne. Now imagine being a 20-year-old, having to assert power over an empire and face down rebellious Greek city-states. Many regions, including Thebes and Athens, saw Philip's death as an opportunity to challenge Macedonian authority. But Alexander wasn't about to let his father's hard work crumble. He knew that to maintain control, he had to show strength, fast. The Thebans, in particular, thought they could break away. So what did Alexander do? He marched his army to Thebes with lightning speed and gave them a choice: submit or face destruction. When they refused, Alexander unleashed a brutal response. The city was destroyed, 6,000 Thebans were killed, and the survivors were sold into slavery. The message was loud and clear: don't mess with Macedon. After crushing this rebellion, the rest of Greece fell in line. The speed and decisiveness of his actions made it clear: Alexander wasn't just some young kid with a crown, he was a military powerhouse who wouldn't tolerate dissent. Once he had Greece under control, he turned his eyes toward a much bigger prize: Persia. Now, why Persia? Well, the Greeks had a long-standing grudge against the Persian Empire, dating back to the Persian Wars 150 years earlier. Persia had invaded Greece multiple times, and the Greeks never forgot. Alexander cleverly used this collective memory as a rallying cry to unite the Greek states behind him. This wasn't just a personal ambition. It was a pan-Hellenic cause. He presented it as avenging past wrongs and securing the freedom of all Greeks. But beyond the rhetoric, Alexander knew that Persia was rich. Its vast wealth and sprawling empire stretched from modern-day Turkey all the way to Egypt and India. By invading Persia, he wasn't just seeking revenge. He was aiming to control the richest empire in the world. And he didn't waste any time. In 334 BCE, he crossed the Hellespont into Persian territory with an army of about 40,000 men, officially kicking off his legendary campaign. Alexander's decision to invade Persia was bold, even audacious, but it showed his remarkable vision. He wasn't just thinking like a king of Macedon, he was thinking like a world conqueror. And as we'll see in his battles to come, that ambition and military genius would forever change the course of history. The Battle of Issus and the Persian defeat. The Battle of Issus in 333 BCE is where Alexander's genius truly shined. Picture this. Alexander faced a much larger Persian force led by King Darius III. Darius even managed to outflank Alexander's army by positioning his forces at Issus, blocking the Macedonian supply routes. This would have spelled disaster for most generals, but not for Alexander. Rather than retreating, Alexander made a bold decision. He attacked head-on, using the narrow battlefield to his advantage. The Persians couldn't fully utilize their superior numbers in the confined space. Alexander led his companion cavalry in a direct charge at the heart of the Persian lines, aiming for Darius himself. The speed and precision of this maneuver threw the Persians into chaos. What's even more incredible is that during the heat of battle, Alexander spotted Darius fleeing the battlefield in panic. The mighty Persian king abandoning his troops. This not only led to the collapse of the Persian army, but also to the capture of Darius' family, including his mother, wife, and children. In a remarkable show of respect, Alexander treated them with honor, further cementing his reputation as not just a conqueror, but a leader with moral integrity. This victory at Issus was a turning point. It shattered Persian morale and demonstrated Alexander's unmatched ability to adapt, even in the most challenging situations. His quick thinking, personal courage, fighting shoulder to shoulder with his men, and tactical brilliance secured one of the most significant victories of his campaign. Siege of Tyre and persistence. The Siege of Tyre was one of Alexander's most remarkable feats, not just because of the victory, but because of his sheer persistence and genius in overcoming an almost impossible challenge. Tyre was a well-fortified island city with strong defenses and access to the sea, making it seem impenetrable. But Alexander was determined to capture it, as controlling Tyre would secure his naval dominance in the eastern Mediterranean. Now, most generals would have given up when they saw that the city couldn't be attacked by conventional means, but not Alexander. He came up with an ingenious plan. He ordered his men to build a massive causeway, or land bridge, stretching from the mainland to the island. Imagine the logistics behind that. Over several months, his engineers and soldiers labored relentlessly, filling the sea with rubble and constructing this enormous structure right under the watch of Tyrian forces. The Tyrians responded by burning parts of the bridge and sending ships to disrupt construction, but Alexander adapted. He built siege towers on the causeway and launched attacks from both the land and sea. Finally, after 7 grueling months, Alexander breached Tyre's walls. His forces stormed the city, taking control despite the fierce resistance. This victory wasn't just about military power. It demonstrated Alexander's unbreakable persistence and his ability to think outside the box. The capture of Tyre sent a powerful message to the rest of the ancient world. Alexander would stop at nothing to achieve his goals, no matter how daunting the obstacles. Cultural integration and legacy. Alexander wasn't just a conqueror, he was a master at integrating the diverse cultures within his vast empire. One of his most brilliant strategies for long-term success was his respect for local traditions and customs. For example, after conquering Egypt, Alexander didn't simply impose his rule. He embraced their culture, even being crowned as pharaoh, which made him more acceptable to the Egyptians. One of the most striking examples of this cultural integration was his relationship with Persia. Despite having waged war against the Persian Empire, Alexander adopted many of their customs after defeating them. He wore Persian royal attire, adopted Persian court ceremonies, and encouraged his officers to marry Persian women, fostering a blend of Greek and Persian cultures. By doing this, Alexander wasn't just ruling by force, he was building bridges between his Greek soldiers and the people he conquered. His approach helped maintain stability in a massive and diverse empire. Rather than ruling through sheer power, Alexander's legacy is one of cultural fusion, laying the foundation for the Hellenistic world. His efforts created a rich blend of Greek, Egyptian, Persian, and many other influences, which continued to shape the ancient world long after his death. If you found this fascinating, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more on Alexander's incredible journey and other stories from history. There's so much more to explore.